physicians need naman to understand the family life cycle. Yan ang pinaka-focus natin dito, of course, is your adaptation. That's your key element. If families don't get to adapt, they cannot transition. Successful transitioning may help naman kasi talaga prevent them from having mga um, discord. It will help them prevent having any problems that may affect your management doon sa um, patient if you are going if you have an ongoing encounter with them. And ayan, so next. So let's go to the levels of change naman. So this is very important because these are the things that each family has to go through. Ito yung sinasabi natin na predictable patterns and predictable changes in each life cycle stage na that is inevitable. That if they don't get to do it, there can be a cause of discord. Like it can be a cause of pathology in the family. So first, let's go to your first order changes. So this is about mastery and adaptation. It is the need to do something new. So need to do. So that's highlighted there. These changes are incremental. It focuses on the tasks that families need to accomplish. Importantly, they don't alter the family's core structure or the individual's identity. So remember, your first order changes are the things that they need to do. Then we go to the second order change naman. So here, transformation takes a center stage. Here, it's about um, the need to be something new. So this involves a shift in the family's basic attributes and the roles and identities of each member. So etong si first order changes are the things they need to do. So those are tasks. And the second order changes are the things that they need to be or nagkakaroon ng changes in the rules, roles and identities of the family. So next I'll be showing you this clip. Parang walang sound. So here you can see the different life cycle stages. So first dito. Yeah, that's the next stage naman. Your family with young children.
Frustrating.
Your family with adults. And if this is your family later. And so those are your 6 family life cycle stages in short clips. So again, first is your young unattached adult stage. Next is your newly married couple stage, family with young children, family with adolescents, launching, and your family in later years. May I know, currently, sa tingin nyo, nasaang stage kayo in your family life cycle? You may type in into the chat box na lang. 5, launching, okay. Si Joanna, meron pa bang iba na who are willing to share? Wala namang wrong answers dito. Kasi ano lang to, just a survey kung nasaan tayo ngayon. Sige, I'll ask again later kapag na-discuss na natin siya isa-isa. Alright, so let's go to the first stage. First is your unattached young adult stage. At this stage, are the young adults are tasked with accepting, hindi lang pala young adults, the young adults and the parents are tasked with accepting the separation from their parents while differentiating themselves from their family of origin. So ang emotional process of transition here is accepting that there is a separation na between the parents and the offspring. So usually this starts when they start leaving home. So parang magsasarili na siya kumbaga. Magsistay na siya in a household different from the family of origin. So for the second order changes or the change in the attributes, their roles and identities, they have to differentiate themselves from their family of origin. So this is a very important time for them to develop intimate peer relationships and establish themselves in the workforce. These tasks contribute to the young adults' growth and independence. For the first order changes naman, these are pretty much straightforward, like them finding a job or a new place to live. So, and having, syempre, external social contact outside of the home. So, as young adults, these steps are very important for them to be able to establish their identity and autonomy. And I guess dito, if I'm gonna give some examples, could be Moana. Kasi di ba she decides to leave home, tapos she wanted to discover her identity and purpose, and then she's she's trying to be independent na and separate from her parents, from the family of origin. And then si Elsa. So, um, though she isolated herself not and then she wanted to live independently, para siyang ano it's like she's trying to um define who she wants to be, 'di ba? Yan. So, as I said earlier, each stage has different common problems encountered medically, emotionally, socially. So for young unattached adults, there's always these episodic problems like mga cough, colds, fever, sore throat, mga ganon. Pero nandyan din yung mga sexually transmitted diseases, possible unwanted pregnancies, and sometimes they come in for pre-employment checkups. Doon natin sila usually nakikita in our clinics. But apart from that, there are your emotional problems that they encounter, including yung mga psychosomatic problems because they have a new job, they have a new role, um, possibly because of their peer group. Pwede din magkaroon sila ng depression secondary to the adjustments na first time nila to live away from home. Andyan din yung difficulty in finding suitable life partners and meeting their parental expectations. Diba? And socially naman, pwede dito sila mag-start magkaroon ng vices, possibly due to peer pressure. So there could be alcoholism, smoking, drugs, and if they have a fiance, baka there could be the pressure for marriage and premarital sex. Next, let's go to the newly married couple stage. So dito, the emotional process of transition or their major task is to commit to the new system. For the second order changes, it involves your formation of the marital system and involves also a realignment of your relationship with your extended families and friends na dapat included na yung spouse. Hindi ka na hindi ka na mag you don't just go out, you don't just decide things na with your family and friends without including the spouse. So there should be a delicate balance here, and it requires open communication and mutual respect. As for the first order changes naman, it's establishing a home base that they can call their own. It's not just about finding a place to live, ha. It's more of parang creating a sanctuary that feels truly your own. And it's important to for you guys to be able to work together to create a space that may reflect both of your needs and preferences. Kumbaga, sasabihin na natin na parang ito yung part na once you get married, it's like you're parang nagbabahay-bahayan kayo. And at the same time, since you're adults, you also have to have a satisfying financial system. And it includes understanding who handles what financially and ensure na both partners feel accountable and involved. And it's also about trust, it's also about shared responsibility since hindi ka na unattached yung adult eh. You don't just call things na ikaw lang bahala sa lahat. You have a partner already. Na kasama mo dito. And at the same time, yun nga, you have to be able to, kahit na nagtatry na kayo ng independence, you have to have a good relationship pa rin with the in-laws and the friends of your partner since you're already forming this system, marital system. So, example here, I guess, is Shrek 2. It was when yung si Shrek and Fiona were newly married and then nag-meet the parents sila. And syempre, since there are societal expectations that they have to meet. So, dun umikot yung movie. As far as I can remember. And then, eto naman, ang mga common causes of our encounters with them. So, there's still the episodic problems, your early pregnancy, STDs, gynecologic problems, and sometimes infertility. For the emotional problems encountered in this stage, there could be some depression due to forced early marriage and unwanted pregnancy. But at the same time, there could also be depression due to infertility. Some could be married na for a couple of years already and they've been trying. So, it causes a lot of depression. Kung if they really wanted to have a kid and then syempre hindi pa nabibiyayaan. And there's also the jealousy to job, friends, and a previous fiance daw. And emotional problems related to the new roles, communication, personalities, and character differences in habits and backgrounds, etc. It's true. It's it's true nga na um, sabi nila you can never really know a person unless you already live with him or her. And personally, that's legit. Na parang you get to discover things na parang meron pala silang bad habits. And syempre, but if you look at it, there are also good things na hindi mo na-discover pa. Until such time na you get married, you stay together, and you experience living with the other person. And then you have your social problems related to your in-laws, friends, peers, and money. There's also the demand of a new role, adjustment to office and work, and then there's the expectations of the people around na kailan ba kayo magkaka-baby, di ba? It seems like it's never ending na when you're an unattached young adult, people ask you, when are you gonna get married? And then when you're a newly married couple, when are you gonna have a kid? So that's part of the social issues that some may encounter. So next, for your family with, okay pa tayo? Okay pa tayo, guys? Buhay pa kayo? Okay pa. Okay. Sige. Hindi na. Kaya pa yan. Kaya niyo yan. Relax muna kayo habang while you're listening. So next, family with young children. So here, as families grow, welcoming young children brings a different dynamic into the household. And the emotional process of transition here is the acceptance of these new members into the system. The new members are the kids. So this involves a second order changes, adapting or the marital framework to create space for children, which can be very exciting but very challenging in terms of the transition. It's just really about finding balance and flexibility. Kumbaga, this is your transition to parenting roles, or sabi nga na pinaglolokohan namin ng husband namin, parang dapat at this point you're ready for mature roles. But this is not just about responsibility. It's about a profound shift in identity. So even at this point, I think just to share, meron kang mga bagay na ma-realize as you prepare to welcome a new member into the system. Parang even during the span of 9 months, there's already a change in identity na nafe-feel mo. There's also the pressure. And parents often find themselves navigating new emotions and new routines that you have to prepare for. While of course, syempre, supporting the child's development. And at this stage, no man is an island, or kailangan mong i-realign na your relationship with your extended family and to include your parenting and grandparenting roles, as well as encourage your children to develop peer relationships. This is important because sometimes we see parents, young parents in the hospital na they're very, very independent, but they have had a hard time, I guess, to realign their relationship with the extended family. And they have a hard time since, kunwari, they have 2 or 3 kids. The youngest, a baby would have some sakit, and then they'd rush to the ER, they'll have to get admitted. And one of the challenges there is walang magbabantay ng ibang kids. The husband is at work, the mom brought the kid to the hospital. Walang extended family that can somehow extend some help to them na that makes them that parang have difficulty in decision making kahit na medyo very admissible na yung isang kid. Or minsan sila mismo may sakit, but they can't get themselves admitted, or they can't get um, medical care since yun nga wala silang other persons available to support them. So next naman, let's go to the first order changes in the same family life cycle stage. So here, for the first order changes, important to create and maintain an effective communication system. So this means ensuring that everyone feels heard and valued, which foster a supportive environment for the children and adults alike, kahit maliliit pa yan. Secondly, cultivating the full uh, full potential of relationships within the relatives in the extended family. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Because these connections provide a good support network and can be very valuable in the times of need. Other first order changes naman include tapping into the resources and syempre enjoying meaningful interactions with outside the family, as these activities not only fulfill the needs but also help in facing dilemmas and reworking the life philosophies. So here, since lumalaki na yung family, um, dumadami din ang mga possible stakeholders. So first, let's go to the parents. So sa parents, you still have your usual medical problems. You may see them during their annual physical exams or pre-employment pa rin. There could be OB-GYN problems, STDs pa rin, and then the family planning. For emotional and social, there could be peer pressure, um, which may lead to alcoholism, drugs, extramarital affairs, and other vices. There could be sexual inadequacy since busy na sila sa child rearing, spousal abuse, job related problems, child rearing problems, communication, problems with in laws, caregiving to sick and old parents or in laws, and financial difficulties. Since these young children are also gonna start school, so kailangan din silang masupport that way. And for the grandparents naman, dyan na lumalabas ang mga degenerative diseases or possible chronic debilitating disease. There could also be psychosomatic problems related to the illnesses and loneliness and some financial difficulties. So, it's inevitable, syempre, for a Filipino family to still consider the welfare of the grandparents, syempre, di ba? Even if they're not in the same household anymore. Then as for the children, since yung mga maliliit pa yan, they may be prone to the usual flu-like symptoms, a cough, cold, fever, sore throat. Also prone to accidents, syempre. Lalo na if your house is not baby-proof. Mental retardation is also there. So it's important for us physicians to counsel the parents of our patients, especially when during your consult meron ka mapansin na kakaiba. So hopefully they'll have some form of acceptance and they get the kid to start consultations with the DevPeds or start your occupational therapy as soon as possible for the kid to have a good quality of life. And there's also poisoning. Minsan the kids chug the paracetamol, mga ganun. So, kailangan talaga naka-baby-proof ang room, ang household. And then your emotional and social problems encountered in children could be learning difficulties. There could also be child abuse and neglect. So it's important to watch out for that. So now let's go to the next family life cycle stage. So this is your family with adolescents. So as families transition to this is another crucial stage where there is a critical shift that can happen. Because adolescents usually seek independence. And so here, the key task, key principle, your emotional process of transition is to have increasing the flexibility of the boundaries to include the children's independence. So this will help them have some form of autonomy while still feeling that they are secure with their family connections. So for the second order changes, here there is a shift of parent-child relationships to permit the adolescent to move in and out of the system freely. And it's also important for parents to refocus on midlife, marital, and career issues at this period since it marks a shift towards the concern for the older generation as well. So this can be an opportunity for personal growth and reflection on their priorities. So kumbaga, at this point, since medyo naging independent na ang mga bata, the parents can now start refocusing on their relationship na kasi hindi na din masyadong alagain yung kids. And at the same time, tumatanda na din ang mga grandparents. So, though hindi pa naman ito yung later years natin, but tumatanda na yung grandparents. So, these couple now are more have more say in the decision making, especially when it comes to the welfare um, of the grandparents. For the first order changes naman, or the things that they need to do, so that includes, of course, providing facilities for varying needs, managing financial matters, and sharing tasks and responsibilities. It's about negotiating the everyday aspects of life while keeping the marriage relationship in focus. So, important din dito ang open communication since it fosters both personal and familial growth. Additionally, it's also a time to rework and maintain a family philosophy or values to ensure that everyone would feel supported and understood. So, again, all these changes are about growth and adaptation. And it's about having a nurturing environment where each member of the family can thrive. And that's very important since adolescence nga ito. And di ba meron tayong at this stage talaga, adolescents may act up. They become more withdrawn, and minsan they want to do things by themselves. So having these e- expectations sa mga sa stage na ng families will help us help the family. Kasi marami tayong patients na may encounter na lalo na sa adolescence na parang pag pagkausap mo hindi mo sila wala kang makuha sa history nila, and then the mom will just blurt out, kaka-cellphone mo yan, yung mga ganun. Kasi hindi na sila masyado nagkakaintindihan sa bahay. Some some have very rigid boundaries na lagi nagkaka-conflict. It's either that or the kid can just be very withdrawn. So now let's see naman the problems that we usually encounter sa parents. So for the medical problems, you have your usual OB-GYN problems, your premenopausal symptoms, and alcoholism and other vices. And then you have your midlife crisis, your male climacteric, your extramarital affairs are possible, and they may also have insecurity secondary to changing appearance. And it's sometimes at this stage talaga na napapansin na nagkakaroon ng mga extramarital affairs just because of this. Sometimes they say that um, they just want to, it's like they just want to see if they still got it. So, yun. So, it's a bit sad nga na kung kailan naman lalaki na yung kids, tsaka pa lang sila nagkakaroon ng mga ganitong problems, no? But, minsan it's because of this. Diba, midlife crisis, nandiyan na ang male climacteric, and then, the insecurities on both sides, both females and the males, secondary to their changing appearance. As for the kids naman, we have to watch out for your drug and substance abuse, possible STDs as early as now. Kasi nga, even at the age of 13, 14, 15, we have a lot of patients na nanganganak ang expectation natin before, at least from the time the paper on this or the content on this was written, was possible menstrual problems. Ngayon, it's actually the teenage pregnancy na nagiging problem. And nandiyan pa rin syempre the usual adolescent issues like acne, bad odor, um, allergies and other skin problems, and then your circumcision. That's when we usually see them, right? And then your emotional and social problems that you encounter, which include yun nga, teenage pregnancy, sexual experimentation, sexuality, possible conflict with the parents since hindi nga sila nagkakaintindihan, and nasisisi ang cellphone usually, juvenile delinquency, your depression, peer pressure, identity crisis, secondary sex characteristics, possible child prostitution, and suicidal tendencies. Now let's go to the launching stage. So here, the emotional process of transition is accepting multitude of entries and exits in exits yan ah. Hindi siya exists into the family system. For the second order changes, there, wait lang ah. Sige. So first, for the second order changes, there's the renegotiation of the marital system as a dyad. So since at the stage of the launching family, sumasabay dito na nagkakaroon ka ng isang unattached young adult, bumabalik tayo sa stage wherein the couple are back to being the couple. This means that they have to refine the relationship now that yung direct parenting role is less central na. Kasi nga, mas lumaki na yung mga kids nila. So with that, since yung mga kids are more independent and they probably live on their own, they decide for themselves already. So they have to have an adult to adult relationship between the kids and their parents, and that's very important. So this decision can be challenging, lalo na kung sa mga um, families na merong rigid boundaries. Kung sanay ang parents na kung ano lang ang gusto ko, yun ang masusunod. So, it's very important for them to be able to transition properly here. Kasi nga, pwede magkaroon ng conflict. Your adult kid can always just say na, malaki na kami. Don't treat us like kids. We're not kids anymore. So, it's very challenging, but syempre, it could be very rewarding once makapag-adjust na sila and then they have the understanding na sa isa't isa. And lastly, we align the relationships to include the in-laws and grandchildren. So that's important. So dati na kayo ang merong mother-in-law, father-in-law na kinoconsider in decision making. Now they have their daughter-in-law or son-in-law na, and possible grandchildren. So, dito nagkakaroon ng further expansion of the family. And syempre, mayroon pa rin challenges at this time since there could be some disabilities, possible death ng parents or grandparents, which can be very stressful for the family. Kaya very important pa rin, as with the other um, life cycle stages, na magkaroon ng open communication for them to be able to transition properly. And next, your first order changes naman. So first, they have to adjust to the physiological changes. So this means meron ng possible new health needs or lifestyle shifts. You have this to discover a new satisfaction with a spouse na sila na lang ulit magkasama. With the grown children, couples usually have the opportunity to discover what it's like to be with one another again and build a comfortable home. At the same time, help their children pa rin to become independent. So that's also very important since sabi nga nila, if you don't raise your kids well, you'll be raising the kids ng mga kids mo. So, kumbaga, ang possible natin dito is kung hindi nila mai-prepare ang kids nila to be launched, pwedeng sila pa rin na maging responsible for them and then their future grandkids, where it should be na nandun na lang sila sa grandparenting role where they are more on the supportive side na. Next, re-examining your living arrangements. They may also have to adjust to the reality of work, and they may need to have more participation in the community since medyo they're having more free time now. Maintain a healthy sexual relationship with a spouse as well, and reaffirm the family values. So ito, so ang question naman now, since di ba nga dito sa Philippines, in our culture, we are very tight-knit. We have very tight-knit families. So sometimes, mostly nakatira pa rin within the extended family ang mga anak. So is that really a failure to launch? Ang sabi dito, not necessarily naman. So when you say kasi failure to launch, it's that term describing yung young adults who struggle to achieve independence in areas like employment, finances, relationships, and self-sufficiency. Pero in the Philippines kasi, there are different contexts na you can just say na dahil nakatira siya dun sa pamilya niya, it's already failure to launch. Pwedeng nandyan ang social and economic. So sa atin medyo expected siya, or madalas mo talaga siyang makikita, lalo na sa mga patients na even multiple generations are living together. Dahil it's more practical and more supportive. and not necessarily a failure. So later on, we'll discuss kung paano mo na masasabi if it's a failure to launch. They could just be in a transitional stage wherein doon muna sila nakatira para matapos yung studies, para mag-alaga ng relatives, and syempre to save money, nandyan na. So, kapag naman when we say that it's failure to launch, it's just the inability to function independently despite having a lot of opportunities, and it's coupled with dependency, lack of motivation, or avoidance of adult responsibilities. So as you can see here, normal or functional pa rin siya if it's in the context of sharing resources or caregiving. Pero kung sa ibang culture na parang medyo individualist, pwedeng sabihin nilang failure to launch yun. Kapag, depende kasi, it really depends on the context, it depends on the cultural and economic context. Pwede din naman talagang nakastay pa rin siya doon dahil nga nag-study, nag-aalaga ng relative, for family bonding, for financial planning. Pero kung wala na siyang motivation, they completely rely on the parents for support, and parang wala siyang foresight, walang ina-avoid ni independence nila, that's failure to launch. As for the level of independence naman, pag meron naman siya autonomy, nakaka-contribute sa household, that's still functional. If they're currently pursuing a career, education, relationships, and personal goals while at home, okay naman yun. And kumbaga, there's healthy interdependence here, and it's not necessarily a failure to launch unless meron ng hindrance sa personal growth or adult functioning. Kumbaga, yung ayaw niya mag-progress, dependent lang siya na bahala na sila sa kanya. Yan. So here, ang ating mga usual problems with the parents, lumalabas na ang degenerative diseases. For the emotional and social, there's your depression, syempre, possible career stagnation as they've been doing the job for years. The emptiness syndrome na they get they feel loneliness because nakaalis na nga doon sa nest yung mga anak. At the same time, yung mga hindi naman umaalis when they have over-dependent married children, ito yung mga kumbaga meron na silang sariling kids, they have their own family na, but ang nag-aalaga pa rin, nakadepende pa rin kay lola. That's a pathology definitely. Then your early retirement is there. Financial problems pa rin, extramarital affairs, caregiving to sick in-laws, and adjustment to new members of the family. Yung pagkakaroon ng mga in-laws na. For the children, andyan pa rin, of course, ang usual problems, OB-GYN, addiction and vices. And for social and emotional, you have your independence and dependency. So it can go both ways. Juvenile delinquency, peer group pressure on vices, problems of old relatives, possible conflicts with parents. Yung sinasabi ko na hindi makapag-adjust ang parents dun sa supportive role nila due to the rigid boundaries that they had in the first place, and possible problems on adjustment to married life. And lastly, for your family in later years, there is a shifting of generational roles, and it's something that they have to accept na ang mag-aalaga na, ang main decision maker na is yung generation na ito, hindi na the grandparents. The children na ang mas magkakaroon ng bigger role, kumbaga, in decision making. Yung middle generation. So, ang second order changes natin dito include your changes sa interests and functions due to the physiologic decline. So this phase is about exploration of new familiar and social options, perhaps trying new activities and engaging in different social circles. It's also important here, yung sinasabi ko kanina, that there's a more central role na for the middle generation sa mga kids. They have new responsibilities now. It's essential for them to make room for the wisdom and experience ng older generation. Because this can be the set of values, the guide for the family as a whole. And furthermore, possible na din dyan for them to deal with the loss of spouse, the siblings, and other peers. And it's inevitable. So sometimes at this time, dito na sila napapa-reflect on their own mortality. Nagre-review na sila ng mga ginawa nila sa buhay nila. And we can't just tell them na, mas isipin yan, yung mga ganon. Kasi it's an inevitable part of aging. And what we can do is, syempre, as I said earlier, have an open communication and help them embrace these changes with openness and compassion. So next are your first order changes. So dito, adjusting to physiological changes of life as we age, pwedeng nang mag-re-examine ng living arrangement to better suit the needs, whether it's downsizing or minsan kailangan na ng assistance ng parents for them to move in with some of the with one of their kids. Second is participating in group activities. So engaging in community events or joining clubs helps them maintain social connections, but also helps their well-being. And lastly, maintaining contact with the younger generation. So this intergenerational interaction enriches their lives and fosters understanding. Kung hindi man sila yung super na nakikita or lagi sila laging pinapapunta si lola or pinupuntahan si lola at lolo, in this day and age, you have your digital communication na. So hopefully, if this is an issue with one of your patients, na lalo na doon sa meron ng mga napapansin kayo na any emotional and social issues like depression or psychosomatic problems due to their kids leaving home or loneliness, syempre, it's important for you to offer those options para doon sa patients natin na yun. Na iba naman na yung ngayon, hindi na siya, we're not we're not in as difficult situation as before na hirap ang communication. So you also have your medical problems, of course. So, mostly dito sa parents and grandparents, degenerative diseases na ito. Also, your Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay? So, that's the last family life cycle stage. So, now, can I ask again? Just a survey ulit, no wrong answers. Nasaang family life cycle stage na kayo in your family? Hello? 5 pa rin. Nasa launching. Okay, thanks, Joanna. So, yeah, I guess nasa 5, no? So, yeah. So usually, ano tayo, nasa launching stage. And could be challenging, right? Kasi nga, since we're in med school pa, um, even if we're still at this stage, syempre, medyo dependent pa. It's not a failure to launch, so don't worry. That's why I always include that slide when discussing. Because sometimes the med students feel like, hala, at this stage dapat nakabukod na ako, na-launch na ako dapat. Pero it's not necessary naman. Because I know you have your focus in your goal and you're not stuck naman eh. You have a goal and you're still with your parents or with your family because you're still preparing for the future that's ahead of you. Right? Sige. So I have here, I just have here some, I think I have two examples here lang. Yun ang maging si Princess ulit ng parents. Yan. So I just have one. I just have two cases here. So meron ako follow-up questions dito. Family with young children po, sila mga very common child. Di naman. Sige. Oh. Ayan. So let's have this example. So first, here, if you can see this genogram, ang index patient mo is si Betty. So, dinala ni Elsa si Betty sa outpatient clinic for follow-up ng cough na nag-resolve after 3 days of antibiotic. Or on further interview with Elsa, the resident found out that she has 2 older children, si Boy and Tess, na 9-year-old. She's married to Kaloy, 15 years now, and are living in one household. So, sinali na siya ng doctor doon sa family health unit. So, si Doc, she's filling out the forms. And ang question dito is, nasa ang family life cycle stage na ang family ni Betty? So, take note pala na kung nasa ang stage ang oldest kid in the family, doon papasok ang life cycle stage. So, if that's the case, you have a 14-year-old male kid, nasaan na tayo sa family life cycle stage? Can you type it in the chat box? D, family with adolescents. That's right. Ano naman yung major task natin for this stage? Di ba nga, sinasabi natin, adolescents um, um, can be difficult, but that's the reason why we have to do this. Yan. We have to increase the flexibility of their boundaries to include the child's independence. Right. So, tama. Good job, guys. So, next example is this. There is family naman. They're launching a family. It's critical for the family to accomplish which of the following second order changes for them to proceed developmentally. So, launching. So launching again, um, the kids are becoming more independent. And our goal here is for them to be able to have um, a good relationship with their parents. So, yes, that's right. So, that's your development of adult to adult relationship between the grown up offspring and their parents para maiwasan na din ng conflict and yung away na di na kami bata, hindi na ako bata, I can think for myself. So yun. Okay, so thank you guys for listening. That concludes our lecture on the family life cycle stages. Interesting naman siya, 'di ba? It's mapapa-reflect ka ng mapapa-reflect ka na eto yung mga nadaanan namin, hindi pala siya naging gano'n kadali. And these are the stages that I'll be going through in the future. Kung nasa tamang landas. Eme. Yes. So that's our goal, not just for ourselves, no, but for our patients as well. Kasi nga ang hirap naman ng hirap mag-counsel ng isang family na nakikita mo na hindi sila fully maka-transition or they're in the midst of the transition. Kasi nga doon usually lumalabas yung mga conflict. Lalo na paano yung mga family with adolescents na biglang kailangan mong i-launch kasi biglang nagkaroon ng sabihin natin teenage pregnancy and kailangan nilang mag-adjust agad na hindi pa talaga sila ready, no? Okay, so ano tayo? Let's document the lecture and para kayo ay makapag-aral na po. And I hope you do well on your exams today and tomorrow. Alright. Alright. Sige. Okay, I'll take a picture na. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you guys for listening and see you next week.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you po,
Thank you,
Doc.
Doc.